breath, take a break, breathe, relax, and smile. And start a new day, a Sunday. Rise and shine. As the Buddhist pioneer Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche said, the great Eastern sun, ever rising, never setting, referencing the innate clear light of reality, the unborn and undying Dharmakaya, or true nature, reality. Things as they are, not as we would like them to be, not as we are. Things as they are, not as we are, with our projections and interpretations. The ever-rising great Eastern sun day. Every morning. Like childhood innocence, the inner child, ever fresh and wakeful, underneath it all, upstream from or prior to our conditioning, habits, etc. Anyway, this is our town hall meditation. Many people ask me to have longer meditations, other people more teachings. You know, it's a balance. Some people want chanting. It's a little hard to chant together synchronously with the different little lags in our technology individually here. We're going to try to work that out. And the country's technology people are working on that too, believe me, in the music business, the group singing business, and so on. But we can still do a little homeopathic chanting and breathing exercises to warm up and go out singing and praying. But our main focus is on the awareness of awareness practice, Dzogchen, awareness cultivation, presencing, innate awakefulness, not cultivating temporary states of mind. And all states are impermanent, temporary, therefore unsatisfying, unfulfilling in the end, or dukkha, dissatisfying. The satisfactoriness, the first noble truth taught by Buddha. All states impermanent, unreliable. So rest in the, quote, united state of mind. Some might call it oneness. We call it Yuganado, or Zunjuk in Tibetan. Wholeness, completeness, like Dzogchen, the natural great completeness, as it is. We don't have to fabricate it. We'll get there. Being here while getting there, every step of the way, being there while getting there. The word here is in the word there, being there while getting there, right here, not waiting, not procrastinating, but meditating here and now, undoing the habit of overdoing, relaxing, coming home to oneself. So many ways of saying it in the timeless wisdom traditions. At ease and one with what is. That may include the healthy impetus to contribute, to change the world for the better, to make a better future and a better world. But right now, our commitment to that includes dropping everything and just being. We'll get to the doings later. Balancing being and doing, alone and with others. Not to be and not to be, but to be and not to be at the same time. That's the burning bush. Seeing that, no one can live separate and apart. That's the yin and the yang, the yab and the yum, the Shiva and Shakti of reality. That's the great Tao, flowing, ecstatic, not static. So we don't have to get into the flow, but recognize it's flowing through us right now. Where else would it go? There are no chosen ones except those who choose to make this kind of choice, to make a choice. And we all have agency and choice. Don't fool yourself about other power. In Buddhism, awareness is the higher power, the inner power, so-called self-power in Japanese. Not exactly a do-it-yourself path, but not waiting for someone else to do it or a Messiah to come either. Buddha said, work out your own liberation with diligence. As he lay dying under the tree at the age of 80 in northern India at Kushinagar. All compound or conditioned things are impermanent. Work out your liberation with diligence. So There's a practice path. We're in the practice and accomplishing lineage, the Rime Dribju, the non-sectarian practice and accomplishing lineage, not philosophy, college, not ritual, monasticism, but the Siddha lineage, practice and accomplishing lineage, experiential, not just intellectual. Of course, study and practice support each other like two wings of a bird, but we've been, most of us, in school for 15 or 20 years, and we continue to live in our heads or be mental in the modern technological society, postmodern society. I think that's why yoga, mindfulness, Tai Chi, Qigong, exercising these things have come in so strongly lately, not just Hinduism or Buddhism or vegetarianism, but something healthy and balancing and experiential, not just belief or membership like church going, social, congregational religion, not necessarily transformative, experiential, mystical religion. So with or without the religion, we're in the experiential spiritual path here, the practicing lineage. So we emphasize having a daily practice of whatever it is, let's say meditation, but it could just as well be prayer, self-inquiry, etc. Some spiritual study, even if you're not a book person, open the book of nature, study and get to know yourself better. And third, inner growth work, whatever form it takes. Those are the first three of my 6 building blocks of a genuine spiritual life. Daily, explicit practice. Second, spiritual study of some kind, looking deeper, wisening up, questioning. And third, inner growth work of whatever form, perhaps even with groups. But the first 3 are more alone-ish, and the second 3 of the 6 building blocks are more with others-ish. Fourth building block of a personal spiritual life, and you notice there's nothing really Buddhist or sectarian about this, or even religious necessarily. Fourth is group work, being part of a group, a congregation, a cohort. It rounds off our rough edges. We get others' perspectives, very helpful, very beautiful. Only connect, as Ian Forster says. Fifth, teacher practice, working with teachers, elders. Buddha called himself Kalyana Mitra, a helpful spiritual elder, not a guru, prophet, seer, but teacher practice, learning from those who have gone a little before us on the path, historically reading about them, hearing about them, or in the present time, learning about them, listening to them, meeting them, watching them on YouTube or wherever they are. The teacher, spiritual teacher, is like a mirror reflecting your higher self, your true self. But an intimate relationship can serve the same when there's nowhere to hide from your partner. So that's part of teacher practice, learning from each other together. And sixth, last but not least, 6th building block of a spiritual life, service, seva, service to the highest by serving the lowest, seva, volunteering, giving back, philanthropy, lending a shoulder, lending an ear, giving materially or giving protection, giving strength, giving hope. Seva, service and generosity, and giving yourself, compassion in action, love in action. Seva in Sanskrit, the Hindu word is defined as serving God by serving humanity. Soften that theistic take translation by making a little more free translation, serving the highest by serving the lowest, or just simply unselfish service, like the Good Samaritan, the Bodhisattva, the altruistic, compassionate awakener, the spiritual hero, the Bodhisattva, the Buddha to be. So those 6 building blocks of a spiritual life can help guide us. Of course, we don't have to be doing them all at the same time. Maybe when we're younger and alone-ish, we have more time for solitary practice or retreats or learning things. Maybe when we have family and jobs and taking care of a sick elder upstairs in the family or in the house, then we're more into group practice and seva, service and things. But around the spiritual life, would have most of those at some point. Inner growth work, spiritual study, connecting with nature or something beyond ourselves, and so on. So I like to think of this as a well-rounded spiritual life, integral spirituality, not just Buddhism, something to consider. That's why some people, and I hear this often in the Buddhist ghetto, in the New Age scene, so-and-so's been meditating for so many years, but he or she still is in a mensch. He or she still, and it's always about somebody else, not about oneself. I mean, this is the way life is, judging others. Of course, it's very hard to accept others if we don't accept ourselves, but that's the other side, which I'm not talking about right now. We always hear somebody else is, oh, they've been doing yoga for years, but they still can't, I don't know, support themselves or their family, or they're dependent or codependent, or they still don't have a healthy, intimate relationship or partnership or family life, or they still don't, whatever, stop their unhealthy, addictive habit. I'm not going to mention any in particular, the kind of things we all could fall into. That's because it's not a well-rounded spiritual life. There's no guarantee that just exercising every morning will make you healthy. If you don't give up your alcoholism, for example, or other lifestyle issues, there's no guarantee that meditating every morning, praying, doing Tai Chi or Qigong, working on a soup kitchen and so on will solve all of your problems, but they're good things to do. But if you balance out with some other things, you have a more well-rounded spiritual life, making one's life into the Dharma path, the transformative Dharma of awakening, not just being a member of a new kind of a flock. So Tibetan Vajrayana Buddhism is often called the path of skillful means because there's many different practices. Zen Buddhism was a reform of the complex, perhaps overgrown Indian Mahayana Buddhism after 1,000 or 1,500 years, and went back to a reform into a simplicity, the way the Quakers and the Unitarians and people in the Western countries did after centuries of a very top-heavy, high church, Vatican-centered Catholic religion. Came the Protestants, and then came the even more simple churches without even a Jesus or a cross of the Quakers and the Unitarians. Still Christian in my view, but I call it low church, like sitting in a circle instead of all adoring the archetypal image in front, the cross with Jesus on it. Anyway, we ourselves, most of us, I'm looking around the room here virtually, we're lay people. We're not monastics. We're not priests. We're not nuns. We're not hermits in caves. So it's all well and good to read stories about those in the ancient times who lived in caves and who did retreat for many years, or who lived in the desert on top of a tower like the Christian desert fathers. And they're inspiring to some of us. But generally, I always say, yes, I was lucky to do many intensive cloistered retreats with great gurus in Asia and India and the Himalayas in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And that's how I grew up spiritually in my young adulthood after college. But I really respect those who can do Nundro, who can do these practices, who have a daily practice, who can be vegetarian, who have a daily practice. Have I said that yet? Here at home, in their own country, before they go to work, before they drive the kids to school, before they make kids breakfast in the morning. Here at home, in our home, in our backyard, in the temple of our family life and our own life is where the rubber really meets the road on the spiritual path, not in a foreign country. Where one is a special, where one is a not known, where you can, well, like be a Bawana in Africa, or a Memsab or a Sab in India. A white person is like a whole different caste and different situation, special. But who can do it at home in ordinariness? Because naturalness is the way, as the Zen saying goes. Who can awaken, find Buddha, Nirvana in their own backyard, or in their own fire escape, or the rooftop of their tenement building, in the garage, in the car that they commute in every day. That's the challenge, seeing the light, the love, the potential, the bodhicitta, the light, the divinity, the divine spark in everyone and everything, not just in gurus, not just in sacred pilgrimage places of the world. What about the sacred pilgrimage of one's heart, or of the place where one's standing or sitting? When are we going to pilgrimage to there? Not just getting from here to there over many lifetimes, but from here to truly and completely here, 200% here. Seeing the 3/4 of the glass that's full right here, not the half that's empty, etc. So this is the view or the bigger picture, the outlook of the natural great perfection, the innate great completeness of Dzogchen, that all is well and all things should be well in this best of all possible worlds. And make it simple, bring it down to here and now, because where else can one ever be? Don't fool yourself. Alignment, aligning yourself with where you already are anyway, not being overly ambitious or naively aspiring to the pot of rainbow, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow path. That's fine. That's a children's story, the Yellow Brick Road, the Wizard of Oz and all that. But as we grow up, we have to realize the rainbow is our own being. The 7 colors are the 7 points of the Shiva Shakti, ascending, descending, yin yang, heaven and earth, 7 points of the 6-pointed star, so-called Star of David, the Shiva Shakti, our 7 chakras. You with me? Like Om contains all the 7 musical notes according to music masters. Om. Anyway, too much to explain into that. It's all here right now. That's the point. As Meister Eckhart, the great Christian mystic of medieval Europe said, the eye through which I see God is the eye through which he sees me. That's what we're talking about. Beyond oneness or noneness. Inconceivable, yet almost palpable. Innate luminosity, radiant presence of being. Not just a bright mind, but awake, awakened energy, if you like. The luminosity, the clear light, as we call it in Tibetan. The Buddha heart mind, the ultimate bodhicitta. Total awareness. Pure presence, with capital P, Rigpa. Beyond self and other, inside and outside, all dualities and polarities. So now, relaxing, settling further into the meditation part, offering the gong sound to wake up. Three times, as is traditional, for various reasons, the sacred triad, the sacred 3. You, me, we. And beginning with the little bodhicitta chant. Could we see that on the board, please? One of those Jangshub Semchok or something like that. And we'll read it in Tibetan and English, Jeff. To set our intention, as they say. Samchak Rinpoche Makye Pana Ke Gyochik Nyepa Nyampa Mepa Ya Kane Kandu Pelwa Shou. Wherever the lamp of enlightenment has not yet been lit, may it be lit and blaze up. Where it has been lit, may it flourish, may it blaze up and illumine the entire universe, warming and healing us all, burning away obscurations and impurities, melting the dross, releasing the pure gold ore from the dross that contains it. Purifying pandemics and their cause, and helping us be more prepared for such so-called natural disasters or human-made disasters, whatever. Oh mani padme hori, 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 oh mani padme hori. Oh mani padme hori, oh mani padme hori, oh mani padme hori, oh mani padme hori. Homage to great compassion. Oh mani padme hori, oh mani padme hori. The Dalai Lama's mantra, Avalokita's mantra. Om Chenrezi, Om Mani Padme Hori, Kuan Yin, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, the Buddha of love and compassion, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hori, Om Mani Padme Hori, Om Mani Padme Hori, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Oh mani padme hum, 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 oh mani padme hum. Oh, Mami, pray me home. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. The jewel in the lotus, the Buddha within, light within the shadows. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Awakening, flowering, blossoming within our hearts and minds. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Not outside, coming from outside. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Heart flowering like a sunflower, like a lotus. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. The Buddha nature, the divine revealed within it, in the heart center, the heart chakra, the heart cave. Oh, the heart of the matter. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. The important things. Life. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Every breath mantra. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Like breath, like the tide, gently seeping in and out. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. 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 The fabled perpetual motion machine, innate awakened energy. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Beyond dualism, beyond the inertia of things rubbing against each other and slowing down, stopping. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. The Tao's hum, the cosmic om, the celestial choir. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani cosmic energy. The background microwaves of the universe. Om Mani Padme Hum. Perpetual motion machine. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Still resonating from the Big Bang of this original moment. Om Mani Padme Hum. Beginningless beginning. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Still carrying us along, riding us along. We are it. Om Mani Padme Hum. We are the waves of it, breaking on the shores of the present moment and relative time. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 If I'm going to have rumination and perseveration, recurrent thoughts, cyclical thoughts, why not turn it into a mantra? Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Reconditioning and ultimately deconditioning slowly. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Great love and compassion. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Love unconditional divine. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Equal to all, joyous, radiant. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. The four Brahma Viharas, the four boundless. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. The six syllables, the six paramitas, the six Panaceian virtues, practices. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Can't stop now. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. This is how the Buddha of compassion and love rolls. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Offering up our lips and lungs and energy to that. Om as a vehicle, as a vessel, like a flute, with the wind blowing through it and making these six syllable sounds of love and compassion in action. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. We are the flute. We are the flute holes. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Oh, play us like a flute, Lord. Lord Buddha. Lord Padmasambhava. Lord Guru. Om Mani Padme Hum. Lord Shinrazi. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Lord Kuan Yin. Avalokita. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Love doesn't come from outside. It comes from through loving. Love is a verb. Om Mani Padme Hum. Love Om Mani Padme Hum. Doing does. Not talking about it. Loving does. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 It just started snowing here in Massachusetts, eastern Massachusetts, Lexington. What a blessing. The white, the pure white, down full of blessings. Chenrezi's blessings, that elixir of lightening up as well as enlightening up. Even body now, what is somebody, bada, man, should have seven pay, bishop, bunch of data, Samantha, Lokita, home pay. So, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. The joy of unmeditation, natural meditation, just presencing, just being aware, awareness alone, just being. Om Mani Padme Hum.
Now turn the spotlight, the searchlight inward with this laser-like self-inquiry question. Laser-like self-inquiry question. Who is experiencing my experience right now? Who is it? What is it? Where is it? Who? What?
Who am I? What am I? But make it practical, particular, chunk it down. Who? What? Right now? Who's trying to meditate? Who's trying to control the mind? Who is experiencing? Is it the head, the eyes, brain, ears, the heart, the mind? What do you think? Go beyond thinking. Try to plumb the bottomless abyss of just being prior to thoughts and concepts. Who? Turn the spotlight to search inward. Turn around quickly enough to see the seer, see through the seer, and be free. Who? What? If you don't know, just don't know for a moment. That would be revolutionary. Instead of so much spurious, fallacious self-concepts, and identity. Who? What? Now? Ah. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Jeff, could you get ready Kempo's prayer and Millennium prayer? Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Infinite love and compassion as we. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum. Moving from me to we. Oh, Mani Padme Hum. 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 Mani Padme Hum. Oh, 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 Mani Padme Hum. Through the merit of this, may the light of the Buddha's precious teaching remain for ages to come, the ground for every single kind of benefit and happiness. May all the supreme holders of the teachings who uphold its living truth agree to live for aeons in their lotus feet, stand firm in this world, and their liberating activity continue. And so may the sun of altruism and well-being, bodhicitta, in all its blazing splendor, shine the brilliant light of the study and practice of Buddha Dharma throughout every corner of the universe. For the boundless benefit of one and all beings. May all beings everywhere with whom we are inseparably interconnected, who want and need the same as we do, may they be awakened, liberated, healed, rebalanced, fulfilled, safe, and free. May there be peace and harmony in this world, and an end to war and violence, poverty and hunger, inequality and oppression, greed and cruelty, environmental degradation, pandemics, famine, droughts, earthquakes, all kinds of natural disasters. And may you all be free from fear, harm, danger, anxiety, and insecurity. And may we better prepare ourselves for the natural calamities that befall us in this saha, or floating bubble-like world. And may we all together complete the spiritual journey all the way home. One beloved community, one circle, one sangha, one satsang, one family, one cohort, one all the way home. May all beings be happy, content, and fulfilled, liberated, and free. May there be peace and harmony in this world and throughout all possible realms of existence. Love, unconditional, for all equally. And may we realize the diamond rule, seeing light, the Buddha, the divine in everyone and everything. Especially the Buddha-ness in your own seat. Don't overlook it. A wise guy once said, we look for God everywhere except where she is to be found, within ourselves. How true. Looking for love in all the wrong places. As if chasing our tails. Doing the same things over and over, expect to get better or different results, etc. So many examples of our own foolishness, or causing ourselves unhappiness or worse. And yet there is another way, the way of awakening, of wakefulness, a conscious life rather than mindlessly sleepwalking through life, having all kinds of so-called accidents. We all know what mindlessness at the steering wheel leads to. We know what intoxication can lead to, all kinds of so-called accidents, which of course have their causes, and so forth. So it's the path of awakening, not just an abstract enlightenment or nirvana one day, but a wakefulness now, direct access. It's a training, it's a path, discovering, recovering, awakening to our true nature and what we truly are and can be, together and individually, for a better world and a better future to be possible. Thinking globally, but acting locally, beginning with ourselves and each other. As Thoreau said, cultivate your own garden of 3 span, meaning your 6 feet frame and your own space, your own garden, not just outside. So now we have time for a couple of questions. We have longer question periods at other times and other retreats and day longs and master classes and things like that. Anybody? Jeff, you have anything coming over the teletype?
Yeah, there's one question that just came in, Lama. Are there specific attitudes to employ or embrace when chanting different mantras?
Well, that's a good question. There's different ways of chanting. Sometimes you just chant like Zen style, just chanting and forget about everything else, just doing what you're doing 100%. But then different mantras, of course, have different meanings and purposes and vibrate in different ways in different chakras and channels and outer and inner, as above, so below, outside and inside, mirroring each other. For example, Om Mani Padme Hung, the mantra of great compassion. Each syllable has a meaning. Om is the cosmic sound. Mani means jewel. So that has outer and inner and subtler meanings. Om Mani Padme, lotus. So that has outer meaning like lotus flower and inner meaning like blossoming and flourishing and secret meaning like pure or the lotus that grows out of the bud. So like Buddha nature is in human nature, in the mud of human nature, or animal nature is the Buddha nature or the divine nature. So like lotus. So, and hung is the five wisdom syllable at the end. So each mantra has its own vibrations and meanings. So when we chant the mantra Om Mani Padme Hung, if we're doing it in a Vajrayana sadhana practice with like text or traditional instructions, according to like profound vision, somebody saw it this way, and then somebody wrote it down, maybe they did, maybe somebody else did, and codified it as a practice, then we do certain things. But to make it brief, we're imagining that we are the Buddha of compassion, that the mantra's in our heart and radiating to all beings. So we're kind of practicing, cultivating, giving out compassionate love, unconditional to all equally right then, which is the four divine attitudes or the four Brahma Viharas, the four boundless attitudes. So we're being great compassion. And so that's the Migpa in Tibetan, or the concept or the context that we're practicing in and as the Buddha of great compassion. So you could think those things if you're training in that way, if you're doing Vajrayana practice with the mantra. The mantra is the Vajrayana speech of the deity, Chenrezi, Avalokita, Kuan Yin, the Buddha of love and compassion. The visualization is like the mindset or the thought, and the attitude is of the radiating of love, compassion, joy, forgiveness, mercy, equal to all the four Brahma Viharas. So you asked about attitudes. So that's Brahma Viharas are like the divine attitudes: compassion, loving kindness, joy, and impartiality are equal to all. So if we practice the wisdom mantra, which I haven't really taught here in these Sundays, Omada Patana D of Manjusri, the embodiment of wisdom, then you imagine yourself Manjusri. So the attitude, the visualization, the shift in identity, the letting go of your small self and transporting into the sublime self or the bigger deity self, archetype of embodying the great virtue of like wisdom or of compassion. That's the attitude. There may be an attitude like a devotional guru yoga where you chant something of the mantra of Guru Rinpoche and you ask for blessings and you become that and then you give out the blessings. So that's all about the inner attitude. The outer is the chanting and maybe sitting, the form. Inner is the visualization, the attitudes, and then secretly it's the being it at the same time. Just like, I don't know if this is good. I never really explained it this way. Just try it out. Outerly, I'm looking at me, you're looking at me, I'm looking at me in the mirror of emptiness, seeing how I see it, pattern recognition. Oh, there I am. The outer is an American, tallish, big male guy, older, jolly llama looking happy-go-lucky, football fan today. American, all these identities. But the inner identity of me is what? Let's say is bodhisattva, or is creative guy, or is like questioning seeker, truth seeker, thoughtful, contemplative, action, social activist guy. But then even subtler is the pure spirit. It's hard to say who or what one is, like the clear light or the inner divine. So that's like outer is like form and solidity and behavior, inner is like attitude or consciousness level, and then secret or subtlest is the true nature level, who you really are, which is beyond nationality or gender or age or size, etc. So this outer, inner, and secret or subtlest, and sometimes it's even four, but let's keep it simple as the three, is a Mahayana or Vajrayana way of analyzing things. Even a simple thing like ethics, outer is behavior, like don't kill or don't lie. Let's take don't lie. But inner is attitude. Like if you lie to save somebody's life, like Anne Frank's in your attic when the Nazis knock on your front door, then saving the life trumps lying or not lying on the moral scale. So the attitude. So you might tell a white lie to save the life, but then secretly it's beyond lying and not lying. It's just things as they are is the natural truth, is the ultimate ethics, and aligning oneself with how it is, not bending it, distorting it, faking it. Authenticity, that's the like secret or subtlest, which is hard to define as an action. So this outer, inner, and secret scheme is a great way to understand and analyze things and relate to the letter of the law, not just relate to the spirit of the law, not just the letter of the law. Relate to the intention, not just the action. Relate to what's written in between the lines, not as well as what's written on the lines. Any other questions, Jeff? I see that we're getting on to the witching hour. Maybe that would be the last question for today. Any announcements, Jeff or Captain Menla? How people can connect and follow up with our other events, social media websites, etc.
Yes, thank you, Lama. We do have a mailing list you can all join. Obviously, you can go to the website and join the mailing list. We send out quite a bit of announcements there, so that's a good way to connect in our social media platforms with Lama Surya Das. And I also just encourage you. This is every Sunday, which is a great way to stay connected. And our March retreat, our spring retreat, where we really dive into transmission. I think you can read some testimonials about these live virtual retreats. We've been really crafting the retreat format for many years, and it has a great rhythm. And I think people really get out a lot of it, even though we're still on Zoom, so we're still connected virtually. So, and of course, made possible by yours truly, Lama. Thank you so much for your heart and prayer and today, and really always sets my mind in the right direction. So thank you.
Well, that's the purpose of this, Jeff. We're doing all this to set your mind in the right direction. And mind.
Well, thank you.
Mind. My mind. I can't even talk anymore. And anybody else that wants to align that way, as I said the other day, when I do this, I think of His Holiness Gawain Drukpa doing this, and he did it so powerfully that I kind of turned in that direction too, and I'm still turning and, quote, following in that direction. Choosing to. Every day, every minute. So it's a choice.
Excellent.
For them that wants it. As Buddha used to say, this is historically, Ehipasako, come and see, help yourself. It's available. The invitation is there, come and see. You don't have to believe it just because we say it. Come and check it out yourself. Help yourself. Help yourself to it, I might add. Thank you all. It's possible because of you and you beautiful cohort, Sangha mates, and you members and donors, and you practicing participants and good-hearted Bodhisattva folk. Thank you. I love you all and appreciate you all ever more. Thank you. And take care of your beautiful selves in this COVID winter. It's not the only thing that's happening in the world, by the way. Check it out. And this too shall pass. But take care of yourself. Do what you can.
Thank you, Lama. Have a beautiful day. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.